When you write one successful book about punk rock and cocktails, what do? You write another one. Author Jesse Hubbard and good friend of Whiskey Business tonight. And welcome to Whiskey Business, the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. You know, fellas, I write. I labor over my words.
Yeah, you do.
I have. I've said this before. There's volumes of material upstairs.
Yeah.
An unpublished novel that I just don't think is
the tortured
tortured
writer.
I've published short stories. I published a holiday cocktail book 1,000 years ago, which when I look at it now, I go,
You write movie scripts?
My movie scripts?
Yep.
Yeah. And then you know, you come across somebody like Jesse Hubbard, who will be joining us here in just a little bit, who is he's one of those jack of all trades that's actually good at all of the trades that he does. You know, you heard that expression, jack of all trades, master of none.
Right.
Not Hubbard.
He's union. He knows how to work the equipment.
He knows how to do. Yes, exactly.
He's going to get film production credits on this episode. As a matter of fact,
before it's all said, he can add that to his resume.
My headroom is good, he says.
I mean, he's been with us as our favorite bartender extraordinaire. He's made cocktails for us. Yep. He's part of our Halloween show.
Yep.
He's probably, I think he might be the guest with the most appearances now on Whiskey Business.
5?
Yeah,
I think 5.
He might be going up
6?
against higher. I mean, he's been in I've lost track. But one of them in particular was when he first put out Punk Rock and Cocktails, Volume 1. And so, you know, he could have rested on those laurels.
Sure.
Right.
One book, move on.
But no, it was successful. So he decided to make that lightning strike in the same bottle twice. And tonight we'll be talking, Jesse, about this one, Punk Rock and Cocktails, Volume 2.
Hold that lower, Dina.
Hold it lower. There you go.
Ooh,
lower.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah. How's it look, Jesse?
How's it look to you, Jesse?
Good.
So
video credit.
He's the assistant camera today.
we'll be talking to him about this book and just catching up with him in general about a lot of things because he's one of our favorite people and one of our favorite guests. But this will be the highlight. And he's not on just yet because we have a couple of highlights to discuss beforehand.
It's a big day.
Greg Hansberry, John Whitney over there, Chip Cosell, absent tonight. He is. I got a new nickname for Chip.
Yeah,
by the way,
is a good name.
I'm going to start calling him Slow Ride.
Slow ride.
Because
take it easy.
He's at what apparently is an annual thing, an anniversary thing of Foghat.
I guess
he goes to see Foghat
every year.
I was under that impression. I don't know.
I didn't know
or
they
whenever,
toured every
whenever,
year.
Whenever possible, with he sees Foghat. But
he's at his anniversary
it's his
celebration, seeing
Foghat.
So I've seen Foghat before.
Yeah, I
fun?
If I did, I don't remember because I would have seen. I would have seen them when they were like number one. Right.
I kind of envision like a Spinal Tap type of a thing where they still dress the part like they're
I'm sure they still dress the part.
And they still have the mustaches.
Yeah, it was about 10 years ago for me, and it was like a time machine.
Yeah.
Anyway. Chip, Slow Ride Cassell.
Slow Ride.
I love you, Chippy.
His wife would probably say, "Nah, not so much. Not so much."
Here tonight.
Chippy quit trip.
I also, I'm trying to move on. I also wanted to mention something that was kind of cool. I came across a website on FeedSpot. There's 1,000 different things out there with the 50 best, the 100 best, so forth and so on. But in this particular 50 best, it was the 50 best whiskey podcasts in the world. In the world.
That's right.
Global.
Yes.
And Whiskey Business is at 38.
Is it still at 38 right now?
It's at 38. I just checked.
Holding steady.
Because it was like what was it, 28?
It was 20. We were up at 28. We dropped a little bit.
Well,
but we haven't been.
I blame the guys at Echo.
They update it every month.
We haven't been putting out on a regular basis.
But we'll get back up there.
Yeah. But still, to be in the top 50 whiskey podcasts in the world. I mean, there's a lot of whiskey podcasts out there.
That's
so
awesome.
Kudos, boys. Well
Yeah.
done. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you,
And
listeners.
thank you guys, because I can't do it without you guys. So
Fully
That
aware.
reminds me, how can they subscribe and stuff? To us?
yeah, do a little
Oh,
business.
that
What a nice
segue.
little segue into the business.
Yeah, thanks for subscribing on all your favorite podcast apps. We're on all of them. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Rate us and review us if it's possible. I know iTunes does that. Spread the word. Excuse me.
Nice rip.
Wow. Really?
Nice
Sorry,
rip, bro.
that was my liquid death that I was chugging.
You're at
I'll
a
edit
fog
that
hat.
out.
Yeah, we
Mom.
just went to 39.
That's right.
Just based on that.
I'm going to
belch.
edit it out of the
No,
podcast. The video will still be there. Share whiskey business with all your friends. It's a grassroots. Oh, I love that sound. Yeah,
That was a
type of a thing. Social media, Instagram, Facebook. Are we on Twitter anymore or X or whatever the hell it's
You
called?
know what? I know that there's an account there, but I can't seem to get to it.
Okay,
That's Jesse's
we
right
can't
there.
figure out how to log in. All right, well, maybe we're not on X or whatever it's called anymore. But we are on YouTube, Whiskey Business with
on
Dino
Instagram.
Strapotis. Yes, and Instagram. But on YouTube, go ahead and smash that subscribe button right there. And you get a notification every time we get a new video.
Yeah.
Which is cool, and I'm sure we're about to talk about it, but we're going to have a bunch of new short videos popping up very shortly. WhiskeyBusinesspod.com, EvergreenPodcasts.com. They're our parent company. That's it. Share
You
the
did a
love.
pretty good
Thank
job.
you.
Yeah.
You did all right.
That was good.
Except for the burp.
Our guest bottle tonight, we've had some Willet products on before, but never the Willet Straight Rye Whiskey. This is the Family Estate bottled small batch rye. Yes. And it for as special as a bottle is, it's not that super expensive. It ranges between $75 and $99 a bottle, depending on where you get it.
The rye?
This one.
Oh,
this one in my hand right now.
And that's different than like the rye, regular rye.
It's like $50 for the regular rye.
Yeah, and there's the I Dream of Genie bottle. That's a whole nother whiskey
That's-
entirely.
that's just
but
the weeded or
I've
whatever
been
corn.
you know me. I don't hold on to them, but I like to crack them open when there's special occasions. Jesse Hubbard's here tonight.
Doesn't
We're
get
gonna
more
talk about
special
his
than
book.
that.
And we have another reason to celebrate because you may have seen some small little teases and some small posts.
Johnny is nervous.
Johnny is. I love that. By the way, that was absolutely hysterical, and it was just a big old vat of something cooking. That what was cooking in that was our whiskey. Many thanks to Joe Bittinger and Nicole Sharoff. Nicole. Who's Nicole? Who's Nicole?
His
Sharoff? I don't know,
girlfriend.
but she sounds hot.
Yeah, she
Yes.
She looks anything like Nikhil.
Nikhil.
Long black hair.
From Echo.
Facial hair.
From Echo Spirits.
Yes.
We talked about it for years, and we finally got off our asses and did
Yeah.
something about it. They are helping us create our own bourbon, a 4-grain bourbon, blue corn, rye, wheat, malted barley. The numbers escape me at the moment, but I know it's got a high rye content.
Well, at least 51%
51
for
corn.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's at 52. I think the
It's
corn
like 7% of the lowest.
Yeah, it's something. I don't know. The math escapes me at the moment.
Yeah.
But we came up with the mash bill, and we put in a hard day's work.
Yep.
Yeah, they're like, hey, come on over and like dump the stuff in. I thought it was going to be,
dump the stuff.
maybe
How many
we'll be
bags?
back
It
in
was
20
like
minutes.
40 or 50 bags.
It was
I
and
think
they're
it's
all
50
50-pound
total.
bags, 50-pound bags of all the grains.
Yeah.
And today, as of this podcast, we had our first distillation. We had some of the white dog, if you will.
Very good.
And I'm not saying this. You'll watch when Johnny puts the videos out. You'll see the look on my face is sincere. I was totally prepared to maybe do a spit take if it tasted like shit.
No.
But it
The
was-
rye and the blue corn, it's really sweet.
it was
really
really
tasty.
good. I mean, it was hot as hell. It was coming out at
160.
160.
It's burning straight down to my stomach.
160.
For sure.
I mean, it's definitely nothing that
Spitting fire, bro.
Yeah. But there would be if you were to just to bottle that as some shine.
Oh my God.
People would eat that and go blind.
And go
Yeah,
blind.
I was having trouble seeing as I
Yeah.
was driving home. Actually,
But-
I only had one.
but it's
crazy.
promising. It's what it is.
I'll edit that out.
It's it's a liquor promise of what's still to come.
Yes,
So
hopefully.
we're very excited. Johnny will have videos of our progress with that as we continue.
If there's any
on.
left, that's what we're joking.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back, every
keep
week
on
and try.
feeding
Oh, we
it.
need to try it now. We need to try more. We need to try more. And by the time it's
I brought
2
a
years,
little of it
There
home.
it is.
we'll get Jesse
A
to
little
try
of it
some.
home. We'll
the white
get a
nose.
straw full out of this for you, Jesse, so you can
Yeah.
give it a let your exquisite palate
Yeah.
chime in on what you think.
That'd be awesome.
We're looking forward
A little
to.
nervous after not being able to see line.
Yeah, well, I'm exaggerating. But yeah, so the videos, the first one will come out next week,
Yeah.
and it'll be about us basically making the pouring all the stuff into the vat and cooking all the mash. That'll be the first installment. The second one will be about tasting the white dog.
Yeah.
So the videos will be somewhere around maybe 5 minutes long, and
Yeah.
we'll put the audio out as well, and they should be fun.
That should be fun. And then we go to the cooperage and pick a white oak barrel,
Yeah.
discuss the
Yep.
char and toast levels of what we want to do, and then we put it in there and we wait for at least 2 years.
I want to strap the barrel onto a Vespa and have you going down the road on a Vespa with the barrel strapped on the back of that thing. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Be sure you film my death at the same time because that sounds inevitable,
sloshing around.
which will make the whiskey even that much more special.
That's right.
Yeah, this whiskey
He made this whiskey. He died for this whiskey.
That's right. Just the empty barrel.
It's
Just
been
be
driving
clear.
around in a Vespa stop for the past 2 years.
You know, it'd be like Oceans.
Right,
What
yeah,
is that?
yeah,
Except it'd be Vespas.
Jefferson Reserve or whatever.
But it's definitely something since we started this podcast that's been that got put on my bucket list. I mean,
Yeah.
we've had the pleasure of selecting a barrel at Watershed. That was cool. That sold out. We did a fine job with that. I've had the pleasure of selecting barrels for the state of Ohio. Love that. But to make a whiskey from the ground up,
Literally.
yeah, pretty special.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's fun.
special.
That's fun. Who, the intern, what did she tell us today? That was the best day ever because she'd have to lift one bag.
Yeah, she'd have to
Yeah.
lift one bag. Lillian.
Lillian.
Yeah,
She
she's
went
great.
to Rose Holman Institute
yeah.
of Technology.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's smarter than all of us put together.
All of us put together.
No beer pong, I guess.
Yeah.
She says
Yeah, I was
nerd
like,
college. so
college
Nerd
beer pong.
college.
She said, no.
Yeah, they
no,
had
we
beer
don't do
pong, but it's like it was so exact that the ping pong ball went into the cup every time.
Yeah.
because it was mathematically deduced
Yeah,
exactly
that's
where
right.
to hit it
It's
at what
probably-
velocity and speed.
It's probably those bank shot ones where you got to hit a bank, bank in. So nobody gets drunk.
Yeah, buddy. No, she's great. They're all great at Echo, and we look forward to something really special, which also gives us a reason to live.
That's true.
For a couple more years.
That's what I
It
said.
gives us a reason to hang around for 2 more years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Because and I don't want to be morbid, but I don't, and including myself, I don't want to say when it comes out, we'd like to dedicate this whiskey to fill in the blank here.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm sure he would have loved it. I don't want to even say who. But,
Maybe
I mean,
we
the
could
good
plan a
money's on
release
me.
party,
The good money's
funeral
on
all
me,
at
but-
once,
Yeah,
Just
right?
boom, boom.
Whoever dies first, their name goes on the barrel.
If
Don't give me any reason. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
dude, if it's me, you gotta have the release party the same day as my funeral.
Oh, fuck yes.
Yeah.
So you better live 2 more years because it won't be
Yeah.
bourbon.
I'll try and time it out.
Okay.
Well, even if I die before that, you still gotta wait.
That's true.
You can have a celebration of strife.
That's right. You're not Orthodox Jewish, which means you don't have to go in the next
No,
day.
no.
You're good. We can say we'll put you on ice for a while.
Well, you could just. I planned on being cremated anyway. We could
put you in a barrel.
Oh, and put that in the.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! There it is.
ashes.
We just
my
cracked the code, bro.
Oh, dude! I'm so excited. Now I gotta die.
It's gonna be sad and exciting all at once.
I mean, I joke and I laugh, but I'm also like of the age of like, don't push it, buddy. Don't quit poking the tiger. Quit poking the tiger.
Fucking
So then this ends up being one of those videos that he predicted his ominous passing with laughter and giddiness.
Much like Nostradamus.
Yes, on Whiskey Business. So there, I got this all out for anybody if that happens.
There you go.
Not that anybody would give a shit.
All 6 of us who listen.
Exactly right.
Self-deprecation. It's what we do.
That's right.
Let's
Move on.
Let's get to the reason that we got Jesse Hubbard is back on a whiskey business. Thank you for being patient. Also, thank you, Gatto's Pizza, by the way.
Gotta get a Gatto's.
Gotta get a Gatto's. Gotta get a pizza. You gotta get a Gatto's on Indianola Avenue. They've moved. Yeah.
Oh,
yes, they have. There they are, right there. Gatto's Pizza.
What did we
Serving
get today?
Clintonville since 1952.
Did we get the sausage?
We got a pepperoni sausage and banana pepper, and then we have just a regular pepperoni, the medium ones.
They do like the real thick sausage.
I got so excited because it's like Whitney reminded me, got to get a Gatto's, and I'm like, cool, because we'll have pizza. Jesse will be here, and we'll have pizza with Jesse, and
we love eating pizza with Jesse.
And then Jesse has some pizza, and I find out after 1,000 appearances on Whiskey Business that you can't eat cheese.
No.
You poor bastard.
Yeah, I know. You've had Gatto's at least a couple times when I've been here, and I was thinking about that when I was off to the side there when you guys were doing your intro. I think the last time I just scraped the cheese off, and I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You know what I mean? I think he was here. So
Oh,
the
actual.
the
dad of the owner was here.
And I was like,
okay.
I'm just gonna eat
Yeah,
it. But I wanted to mention before we got too far away from it, I was looking it up while you guys were on here a minute ago. Only one original member in Fog Hat left.
Oh, nice.
But it counts.
Drummer. It still counts.
Still counts.
The drummer, Roger Earl or Earl Roger, whatever. Yeah,
I have no idea.
He's the only. He's played with every lineup of Fog Hat.
Does he owns the name and
Apparently
rights
so.
and
Yeah,
everything?
apparently so.
Well,
Anyway,
good for him,
Fun
man.
trivia.
Fun trivia. I was curious myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've been around
Thanks, buddy.
for a minute.
They have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, while we're serving up some Gatto's Pizza, let's raise a glass and welcome back Jesse Hubbard, dude.
Salute. Thanks for having me, guys.
Always a pleasure to have you, especially when you got something cool to talk about.
Yeah.
And I was kind of kidding a little bit, but then also very serious. I think it's amazing that on the heels of Punk Rock and Cocktails Volume 1, which by the way is my favorite coffee table book.
It's actually
You do
on
have
the
a
coffee
copy.
table.
Yeah,
That's
it
awesome.
really is.
Yeah, it's on there right there.
And I can vouch that he didn't just put it out this afternoon. It's out all the
there.
time.
It's a great conversation piece, and people leaf through it all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
It makes me
and
happy to hear that.
Yeah, so now I got bookends. I can put this one on the
Yes,
other
sir.
side.
Yes, sir.
My daughter is going to dig this book for sure. She loved the first one.
Oh, that's awesome,
Because
yeah.
she runs a rock and roll club in New York City.
Yeah, I met her, I think, over the
Yeah,
holidays.
Arlene's Grocery,
Yeah.
and she gets all kind of very diverse acts into that place.
Cool.
Was it Marcy's Playground was in there recently?
Ah,
Yeah, they were going back in the
Still like that
studio.
song, though.
They were
Still
going
like
back
that
in the
song.
studio, and they wanted to kind of get out and play, and they
I think I had that on cassette single.
That's cool, though.
Yeah, it is cool. This is it. 2 years after the acclaimed first installment. 2 years? Really?
Yeah.
Because it seemed like you just bounced back even quicker than that.
I
But
took my time with this. Just kind
Yeah.
of like leisurely route.
Punk Rock and Cocktails Volume 2. 20 different bands, 20 brand new craft cocktails, and there's a couple that I want to examine a little deeper because I just, when I see the name of a cocktail, okay, I got to try that one.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's like the name of an album, kind of.
And the stories about some of the most loved and accomplished bands in punk rock and beyond. It is punk rock and beyond because I noticed that you got Shooter Jennings in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who I have referred to as he's like punk rock and cowboy boots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like him and his dad running kind of that similar, line of anti-authority, do what you think is right, so on and so forth. Very similar ideals to punk rock and outlaw country, I think.
Yeah.
Let me get this out of the way early because we always do it late and
Okay.
sometimes how do people get it? right off the bat if they wanted it like
So they could stop
right
listening
now.
to the episode.
Yeah, not listening, but they wanted to get it because we got some cool things to talk about.
So I have them for sale on my website, strussellproductions.com, and you can get signed copies there if you're so inclined to have me scribble my name on it. Be happy to do that for you. They're also available on Amazon, but I'm going to tell you a secret. I can put them a little cheaper on my website than Amazon does.
You heard it here first.
Couple dollars cheaper.
I heard it probably first. You probably heard it here. Like
Actually, I don't think I've been probably not supposed to tell people that, but I think it's a whiskey business exclusive.
Yeah.
You get it cheaper and signed from my website.
I don't think Jeff Bezos is somewhere going like Jesse Hubbard.
He's old
Bastard! Hubbard!
He's gonna bring him down $2 at a time.
I'm not taking on Amazon with this. I'm really not trying to. Just trying to make a few bucks. Sorry, Jeff Bezos.
But it is available on Amazon.
It's on Amazon, yeah. You can get. The main reason it's on Amazon is for anybody overseas that wants to buy a copy. It's the shipping is just astronomical for me to do that on my own. But anybody in the U.S., which is I assume, you probably have listeners overseas as well. But anybody in the U.S. that wants to buy a copy,
We do. We have some people
go
in
to
Australia.
strussellproductions.com. Yeah.
Yeah, we do have people.
Yeah.
Russia, Germany.
Russia, Germany.
So if you're
One
in
guy
if you're in the
in,
good old U.S. of A, go to my
London.
website.
One guy in London.
If you're the guy in London and you're interested in it,
Transylvania.
Amazon probably.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Oh wait, Jesse's still.
all right.
No, just keep on.
So you do punk rock. You do punk rock and cocktails, Volume 1.
Yes, sir.
All right, you get it done.
Yes.
Successful. I mean, it's an accomplishment. Like, whoo,
Yeah.
man, I can't believe I pulled this off.
Right.
I got to do two things that I really love and put them together in a book that's and amazing that you got interviews with all these bands in Volume 1. Then was Volume 2 like I'm not done? Or like there was a chance to do more? Or did you just say I want to do more? It's like
It was both. Interesting thing is, and you and I have talked about this before, both on and off air. Trying to like find your voice as a writer and stuff. And this is the first time I've ever, I've written articles for like small publications and stuff, but first time I ever attempted anything of this magnitude. And there was no shortage of bands that I can include, and there was more than enough bands that I wanted for the first one. But it's all about reaching out to them, getting them to sign off on it. So all of these albums in both Volume 1 and 2 are some of my favorite albums. It's not necessarily in an order of like the first 20 are my first 20 favorite, second, you know what I mean?
right.
And there were some I guess like bucket list bands that I really wanted to get for it. So as time went on, that became available. Getting to know a few of the artists here and there through this process, introduced me to other people, made that possible, right? And I felt much more comfortable about where I wanted the book to go. So the first one, I really kind of found myself like, okay, I'm going to gear this as a cocktail book. I want to make a cocktail book. As I've said before, how do I get, what's the hook, right? What's the hook? And it's okay, people might not know me, but they're into these bands, and that could be a cool connection. Well, the second time around, I approach it a little differently, and I don't know if it reads that way or not. I think it might, but I looked at it more of a book about music first and foremost, because I really enjoyed, my favorite part of it was ultimately sharing these stories. It's not a bio about the bands. They're personal stories about my connection, why they matter, I think, to me and on a greater scale.
Right.
So I wanted to write it with that in mind. I'm going to write these stories and pay tribute to these bands and these albums with a cocktail. Seems like a small thing, but it really changed my approach on how I wrote the book the second time around.
very cool.
Yeah.
And did you have to get like the first one? You had to get all these bands to sign off on it, right?
I mean, technically, as I found out through the process, is like you don't have to, but it's a good idea to.
Yeah.
And I really wanted the bands to be on board. It's important to me.
Was it easier the second time around since you had the first one out there, and
yeah.
there was something like they
It
go,
was.
well, they could look it up and they go, oh, this guy's for real.
It was because, it's exactly what it was. And in some capacity, it was either the full band or a member of the band or the record label or management or somebody from the camp would sign off. And it was pretty cool. A couple times I'd be talking to somebody from one of the record labals who owned the album art, and they'd be like, oh, yeah, I've heard of this. And I was like, awesome.
Tight.
Great. That's
awesome. Because they heard of the first one. So, and it was just like, yeah, let me reach out to so-and-so, and then I'll get back to you. And then bada bing, bada bang, bada boom.
Sweet.
There it is. It was really cool.
Well, and I'm not to oversimplify it, but sometimes it's just getting off your ass and making a couple calls or emails, and and you realize this is a more connected community than you think it is.
Well, it really is. And in the first one, just years of working in radio and doing things in the music industry, I kind of rested on my connections for the first time. And this one, so many of these people I didn't know, with the exception of a few. So it was just kind of establishing those relationships, or somebody from the first book recommending me to one of the musicians in the second book. So it's a time-consuming process, to your point, Hansberry. But it's really cool whenever somebody can say, yeah, like, we're into it. Yeah, it's awesome.
One of my favorite features, too, it's the exact same shape and dimensions of a vinyl record.
Yep. That's very cool.
So
it's an interesting thing. I had and I'm really happy with the publisher that I have, and they're great, and they do great work. But they're Columbus-based, and not as big as some of the other ones that are out there, just facts. I did have a couple pretty large publishers reach out to me with interest in the book, but a sticking point on both of those with them was they wanted to change the shape of the book, and I just didn't want to do that.
No way, man.
I thought that's one of the
What
coolest
they want
things
to
about
change
it.
the shape of the book to? Just
A more
regular-
traditional book that would fit in a shelf. They didn't want it to be a coffee table book. They wanted it to be more of like just kind of slide into the thing.
This is punk rock.
That's what I'm saying,
Say it again, John.
Although if they want me for the third
Fuck
one,
that, this is punk
the shape of the
rock.
book, No, but it's one of those things where I just was so passionate about it, and it just changed. It would change too much about what I wanted it to be, and that's
Absolutely.
kind of, we're joking about it, but that's kind of the idea. I'm like, you know what, like, it is punk rock, and I'm not going to like sell out. I mean, it's already like, it's on Amazon, so there's already a level of that anyway.
Well,
But
well,
you gotta do-
They being on Amazon's not selling
You're
it.
fucking
Being
undercutting
on
Bezos.
Amazon, let's face it.
it's a necessary thing.
It's
Yeah.
necessary.
But it had to be the size of a record for me. That was one of the most consistent pieces of feedback that I got from people, was how they loved that it was the size of a record.
It's awesome.
If you do a volume 3, you need to do like a center page fold out, like a record
Or like a Playboy.
poster back in the day.
Not a Playboy. He means like a. I know.
Like an album would have like posters that you fold
Right.
out.
right.
like a Playboy.
Yeah, right, like a Playboy. He's a pinup. The pinup of
Just me.
Just
Like,
not my
not what we
first
had in
choice.
mind.
I love you. I love you to
words
death,
in my mouth.
but not my first
Just me
choice.
draped in records.
You're like George Costanza, but with records all over your body.
Sales tanked on the third copy, third edition for some reason.
So you mentioned early on, I said these aren't necessarily bios and interviews with the bands. These are how some of the bands affected in your life and what they meant to you.
What they meant to me, and then in just the punk scene and the music community as a whole. It just, they're fun little stories that I sure, you can go online and find the album art, but what you can't find is the album art with somebody who loves music so much and can share these very personal stories and have a freaking cool cocktail with it.
Right, and that's the other hook too, is you, as a coctologist,
Don't ever say that again.
it's
What did you call it?
a coctologist.
Yeah.
Cocktail mixologist combined. It's a
Nope.
coctologist.
Nope.
Don't
nope.
care for it.
Don't care for it either.
I thought that was a male version of a gynecologist, actually.
Hate it.
So that's not gonna.
No,
That's not gonna catch on.
I don't have his expertise, but I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
All right, I'll rethink that. Regardless, the cocktails are very thoughtful as well. I mean, I know you're
Thanks,
kind
man.
of glossing over this a little bit, but they are thought. They have to go do it with the records.
Oh, I certainly, I don't mean to gloss over. Like, I put a lot of time and effort into the cocktails, and I changed my approach to that a little bit. In the first book, I kind of made cocktails the way I thought that somebody who had a cocktail book would want them to be. If I buy a cocktail book, and and looking back, and I'm like, some of them were maybe a little pretentious, and I didn't mean for them to be, but I just was trying to. I didn't know what I was doing yet. I was trying to find my voice. Right.
That's what you do.
Yeah,
So,
that's
I mean,
your thing.
I know, but
you make amazing cocktails.
Yeah.
So if you consider them to be slightly pretentious, isn't that what the craft cocktails are in general
but that's
anyway?
just-
They're pretty pretentious.
You're right, and I guess that's just not
Genre
who
of
I
cocktail.
am, and I just wanted them to be a little bit more approachable for people because,
cardamom seeds are for everybody.
My intent for this wasn't ever for other bartenders to get the book. It's for people who wanted to make the drinks at home and listen to the records to buy the book, and that's who my audience was. And I would have people reaching out and saying, I don't know what this is, and I'm like, yeah, maybe it's a little bit. Some of this stuff is just a little bit too, like pinkies up kind of stuff. So let's bring it down a little bit and make it more approachable. Still really good, well-crafted cocktails, but I think stuff that people can replicate easily.
Because
still
I
be
love
original.
Papa Never Heard the Cool, this drink, but I don't know if I could make it. I don't know if I have the skill set.
What
to
are
make
the
it.
ingredients?
2 ounces of Woodford Reserve.
You got that.
No problem. 0.5 ounces of sunflower seed orgeat.
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 Yeah, I mean that's probably like that's that's
What
not
is
pretentious.
that? What is
What
that?
are you doing?
What is that, you pretentious son of a bitch?
That's not punk rock.
So usually it's an almond syrup, but there's nothing about craft cocktails is punk rock. That's why it's fun to bring the worlds together. You know what I mean?
It should be like syrup with nails soaked in them.
Okay, this is where the dumb in whiskey business comes out. How'd you say it? Orgeat.
So,
What's that? How would you read that?
Orgeat.
Orgeat. Yeah.
Go to the
Got myself an Orgeat.
Yeah, you left out an R. I think it's supposed to be Orgeat.
There's one you're gonna like in there. Go to the Agnostic Front cocktail. I forget what page it is.
I saw that. I just came across.
Go to that. That
was pretty simple. No, I think it's toward the back, isn't it?
Yeah, it's toward the back.
Yeah, it's
towards the back, but I can't
saw
remember.
that.
That was. I think that's my favorite one in the book.
The agnostic where you don't know if you like it or not.
No. Agnostic Front is the New York hardcore band. But the cocktail,
the classic when you see something and you go to look for it, you can't find it.
Right.
Of course.
Keep talking.
This is a true outlier in the book of craft cocktails, but I felt that it was truly fitting of the band. And if you know them, they're just Italian New York.
Is there an
tough guys.
index? Do you know?
There is. That's what I thought he was going for. There you
There
just
it
passed
is.
it. You just passed it.
Yeah.
You just
There
passed
it
it.
is. Agnostic Front, Victim in Pain.
That's the name of the album.
That's the name of the album. And the cocktail. Ah, there you go. Shot in a beer.
Shot in a beer, baby.
Shot in a
there
beer,
you go.
baby.
I got to know Vinny Stigma from the band a little bit. Super cool guy, and he just would not be one for a flower garnish on a cocktail. He's a shot in a beer kind of guy.
This is when, as a writer, you tell yourself you're going to write every day. This is the short day. This is the short day. I'm done.
That's it.
Done.
Shot in a beer.
Yeah, shot in a beer.
That's it,
All right.
baby.
Well done, Jesse.
It was a great joy for me to be crumple up that beer can and just set it all on the floor.
Right, yeah.
I'm down there taking pictures. Everything else is a real cocktail.
A
though.
glass
So
of
ni-
wine.
So 19 real cocktails.
No, man.
A shot in a beer.
So how many cocktails are in this?
Counting shot in a beer, there's
20,
there's
but
20.
there's really 19 real cocktails plus that one
Okay.
for funsies.
Yeah.
there's the midlife crisis.
Uh-huh.
I've already been through that, so
Yeah.
it's just,
It's coming up for me here
Yeah.
shortly.
This one, I think I could make. Black Me Out. 1 ounce of Woodford bourbon, 1 ounce of Woodford rye. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Like
Yeah.
a split base.
Yeah.
Like a Manhattan style.
0.5 ounces of Nicino, fig infused sweet vermouth. 1 dash of smoked. I love cinnamon, so cinnamon
Yeah.
bitters is in this,
Yeah.
and some spiced cherry bitters as well. Yeah, I could make that.
It's a good one.
I could make
Yeah,
that one.
and you can get all that stuff from
Yeah.
just a local liquor store here. Mm-hmm. That's a good one. There's a lot of fun ones in there. I try to hit all the different spirits, not focus on any one too much.
So are you exercising your craft anywhere? I mean, are you behind the stick anywhere as we speak?
Yeah. So what I've been doing for the last year and a half or so, 2 years, I've been working primarily with St. Russell Productions. I've been doing hosting events, both public and private, anything from some of the things that you guys have been to and that we've done together, to tons of teaching and cocktail classes, working corporate events, working weddings, all of that kind of stuff.
You helped produce our Halloween show.
Yeah. I love doing that kind of stuff. And there's the big things that I do, a handful of times a year, but so much of it is just really behind the scenes. I'm doing stuff. I work with an event company in Powell. I do a lot of stuff with them. So it just keeps me busy, kind of doing that stuff under the radar, and so I can focus on my big projects. Something I made a conscious decision to do right around that same time was, so often as a bartender, you find yourself in a situation where you are promoting your bar so much, and you become connected and attached to that bar.
Sure.
And then it happened to me, and I realized, well, I didn't really want that. I wanted to work somewhere and pay my bills and make ends meet.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be associated. When people say Jesse Hubbard, they don't think of a particular bar anymore. They think of Punk Rock and Cocktails or St. Russell Productions or something like that.
Sure.
That association and brand recognition was important to me. So that's where we're at, and then the goal is to have my own spot, hopefully in a couple years, and that's what it's all heading toward. And keep.
So you would like to eventually get your own place.
I do.
Much like a chef
Yeah.
has his own restaurant
Gotta
that
do it.
everybody's
Yeah.
is renowned.
Sure. I do. I mean, Columbus will be great, but I'm also looking at surrounding areas wherever something becomes available. I'm in the early stages of looking. Not really have any news to break as far as that goes, other than it will happen, and I'll let you guys know when it happens.
And
All right.
It's going to be something to look forward to.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but we kind of broached that particular topic many a podcast ago,
Mm-hmm.
and would the bar still be at the time? The bar was going to be called St. Russell's.
Yeah, that's it. That's
still-
it. That's it, baby.
That's it. So
Have you copyrighted that, or do you protected that name?
yes,
Anybody listening don't have any ideas?
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll actually have a bar where I can have like my own bar stool
Where
at Jesse's.
Yeah.
Like you
you're
can
really assuming a lot.
sponsor the
No,
bar
I just
stool?
they'll be like, "Oh, that's Hansberry's stool." You better
Oh,
get
don't
up.
sit there. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to call you Gregory, though.
Yeah,
That's
you
all right,
think
I'll
that's
take
gonna
it.
happen?
If it happens anywhere, it would be happening there. Yeah.
You'd be like Norm, but they say Gregory
Yeah,
as you walk in.
Gregory.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Gregory. Okay,
Yeah,
maybe
it's
we'll
got
change that.
to.
No, but that's the dream, that's the goal, and it's becoming a reality in the sense of like, all right, well, I'm ready to start looking, and I've looked, but I don't want to force the issue. I want it to be right time, right place.
Pick the right spot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I made reference like a famous chef has a restaurant, but and then you see these chefs who started as just regular chefs and became famous or renowned, and I always wondered, like, does Gordon Ramsay still cook?
Right.
That's a really good question.
Does Jesse Hubbard still mix drinks?
I don't do the kind of craft cocktails now on a regular basis that I did when I was working at the Westin or River Social or something like that. Just because a lot of the stuff I do doesn't require it, but sometimes I get to do that, and it's really exciting to do. And that'd be the goal. When I open up my spot, when that happens, I'll be involved. But as time goes on, become less and less involved, hand over the reins, and just be something that could settle into my retirement.
They will learn the Jesse Hubbard method,
But I think the idea is you want to get people that you trust in, right?
right?
So like if you can't ultimately have people do things on their own without having to, like, you don't want to look over somebody's shoulder, micromanage, and do all that. You want good people that you can trust. There's a lot of good people in Columbus and Cincinnati and Cleveland and wherever these places may be. But it's, hey, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But ultimately, it's like, yeah, I want to open up a spot, but maybe have a couple. And I have ideas and specific concepts.
Bar, restaurant, or just bar?
So bar, restaurant, and bar, concert venue type thing. Yeah, I want to bring it all together. I mean, if there's two things that people associate with me, that's music and spirits
Right.
and cocktails.
There you
That's-
go.
I've heard people say, "Oh, it's your brand. You're the rock and roll bartender guy," and that just kind of happened. Those are just two things that I've loved all my life.
Sure.
When it just
And it just
happens,
clicks,
you embrace that and
Yeah.
you run with it, especially if it's a positive thing.
Yeah, if I could hit a
Yeah.
fastball, like baseball, star athlete would be part of that too. But
Right.
that
Yeah.
doesn't happen.
There you go.
Neither can we.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you go with what you can do.
So when I retire, can I be a bar back at your bar? I used to do that when I was young.
Full circle.
Full circle.
Go full
Yeah.
circle.
It's better than greeting people at Walmart. I'd
I'm
rather
gonna
be
have
a
to talk
bar
to your
back.
references, but
Keep my stool clean.
Yeah, I can do that, man.
One of my first jobs when I was 19 years old, I got thrown into being a bartender at the Office Lounge in Wheeling, West Virginia.
you told me about that.
Yeah, I was 19
Yeah,
years
I-
old. I was
West
horrible.
Virginia.
I was terrible. I would mess
Sure. Yeah.
them up all the time.
Everybody
Yeah.
does when they start, though.
Yeah,
Everybody does.
especially when they
When you're
wanted
19.
something. Yeah.
All I did was clear glasses, clean them, and get ice. That's all I ever did in a bar.
Perfect. That's all you need to take somebody to do that.
I messed up a pina colada. That's what it was. And she goes, "This isn't a pina colada, but I really like it. What is it?" And I went, "That's a little thing I call Dino's Delight." And she went, "Oh,
Dino's
I like
Delight.
It. May I
I'll
have
have
another
another.
one? May I have another one? No, you may not."
Ran out.
Because
No idea how I did that.
I don't know what I did.
This one is called Dino's Not So Delightful.
The color's
The second
completely
one.
different.
Dino's Delight limited edition. That one.
That's funny. No, but yeah, but that's that's what I think anybody that gets into, whether you're a chef, whether you're a bartender, that ultimately you want to do that. And I'm not trying to be secretive about it, like
No.
someday and do have an announcement. Like anybody that knows me knows that's what I want to do. So whether it's a year from now, whether it's 2 years, whether it's 3 years, when the time is right, You guys will know. We'll do the friends and family soft opening. Get your
Maybe
asses out there.
it'll all time out that your place will open up the same
Oh
time
my
our
God.
bourbon is ready.
Oh my
And then we
God.
have our
funeral
release
celebration.
party,
Your
our
funeral.
release
We're
party,
doing
and
the
our
party
funeral
right
at your place,
I feel.
and you get one of these bands to play.
I love the guys at Echo. I don't want to. I think they might want to have it at their place.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, we'll work
We
with
can do
that.
the after party at my place.
That's
There you go.
fine. That's
After
fine.
party.
All right.
There you go.
We'll just take the keg over. It's
Okay.
So out of all the bands between Volume 1 and Volume 2, who do you think the best band would be to play at my funeral?
Because we talked about that earlier. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Let's see here.
Out of all those bands.
You want like a serious answer?
I absolutely want a serious answer.
Probably.
And tell me why.
I'm going to go with one of two artists from from the first book. It's got to be Lucero.
Okay.
So
All right.
Lucero,
I'm familiar
they
with
are
Lucero.
there are if you're not familiar or anybody listening not familiar, they're not in this one. They're the first one, but they are this kind of punk, kind of country, kind of soul, kind of blues band from Memphis, and like whiskey is a constant theme throughout the course of their
Dig
career.
it. I love it.
You know what I mean?
Love it.
The lead singer, Ben Nichols, has got this kind of, I mean, I don't know any better way to say it than just like a whiskey-soaked vocal styling.
Okay.
And
That's like your voice.
he can draw a tear to your eye if you're listening to the lyrics. I think that would be amazing. On the flip side, we could also get Killswitch Engage to play just a ripper of a set.
A ripper of a set. I don't know. First one out of your mind was Lucero. I kind of dig
I think
that.
that'd be good.
I can see it now.
They're
Got
a-
a follow
they're a-
spot on your casket.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well,
doesn't
on my
move very
urn.
often.
On my urn.
On your-
I'm
that's
gonna
right,
be
your urn,
cremated.
that's
I'm gonna
right.
be
Well,
cremated.
it'll all be in the whiskey though.
Yeah.
They're gonna be empty.
Well, I thought it was going to be a whiskey bottle.
It was
Is
good.
it urn
A
whiskey,
whiskey
bottle?
bottle.
Yeah, I have it. I have the bottle already
right.
picked out.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that-
it's
there
in
you
my
go.
it's in my will to put my ashes in an antique Jack Daniel's bottle.
Are you being serious now?
Yeah.
Totally.
Can I have some of
Actually
it in a tiny?
That's pretty cool.
No, and I said that if there's any leftover ashes, that everybody's supposed to bring little Jack Daniel's airplane bottles.
Yes.
And they can scoop a little bit of me and
There
take it
you
open
go.
and then do what you want with it.
There you go.
I call your ears.
Yeah. What?
I don't think it works that way, Hansberry.
Can I be Gogol Bardello?
Jogo Bartello.
What do you mean be them? What does that mean? Can
I don't
be
know.
Gogo Bordello?
If he gets to be a kill switch and gate. No,
No, I'm Lucero.
Lucero.
Yeah.
I just like it
You
because
mean the Ukrainian gypsy punk band?
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Dude, he's
I
nuts.
think that
He's
suits you. That suits you. I love how over time, like I have been fortunate enough to hang out with you gentlemen on the show here many times, as we've said, and it just like I love every time that I come on here. It just gets more and more fun, and we're just hanging out, shooting the shit. I forget that people are going to listen to this.
Right?
Yeah.
We did too.
Well, I'm following all my detailed notes and research that I did for this interview. You can
There's
see,
nothing on.
you
You
can
get-
see that
I try to be so like polished, and always authentic, but like polished and like professional when I'm doing stuff like
No.
this. And you guys probably get the realest look at who I am as a person out of anybody. just a freaking knucklehead, man.
because I
Thank
think the deal is, we've always said this, that everybody's got a story.
Yeah.
And every time I've had you on the podcast, I've always kind of quietly said to myself, he'll be back because that story isn't done. We never finish the story. The stories continue as we continue to live and grow and prosper as human beings, both emotionally, mentally, physically. The stories change
It always
and they evolve.
changes and evolves, and it's
Yeah.
always interesting to talk with you guys.
So which leads me to my next question. You said something earlier that you felt on this particular volume 2 that you were a better writer on this one. Okay. So my question is, and you said you've written other things, published little articles here and there, as and we're friends, and I'm not going to delve too deep into some of the things that we've talked about.
You can talk to me. You can.
I know.
You can
I know.
talk about whatever you want.
I know. But some of the things that go a little deeper into who you are, where you've been, and what you've done, and so forth and so on. Some dark places that you've come out of as well. So, as a writer, I find that those are sometimes it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes the easiest things to write about because they're honest, but also the hardest things to write about because they're honest, if you're being honest. So my question is, getting away from punk rock and cocktails, do you ever envision yourself writing something like a novel or a memoir of sorts that actually purges a lot of those things that have been inside you all these years?
Yeah. The short answer is yes, I have. I don't think the time is right yet.
That's fine.
For a couple of reasons. You know, I'm not done. You know, I feel like I've got a lot left of things that I want to do creatively, and I think everything that I do creatively can give me more of an audience, and I would want there to be as much of an audience as possible before I would attempt to do something like that, so as many people could hear the story, you know, about my struggles with mental health and you know and you know all the specifics that you guys know about, and you know how I pulled myself out of that, but it's, you know, it's, you still.
Sure.
You know, right?
Yeah.
Like John Mellencamp, right? Like
Right.
life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone, right?
Yeah,
So
right,
sometimes you're like, all right, how do I make it through?
And
How do I make it through? So I think
he's done it through his art. His
Yeah.
art is.
so. I've got he's
amazing.
amazing. He's amazing.
Amazing.
So, but like, so I guess my point is, like, you know, I've got my podcast, I've got my books I do, I got St. Russell Productions, I want to work towards the restaurant. I've got all these projects that keep me busy and that I'm really passionate about. I think maybe someday, because if I start writing that now. It's a little presumptuous of me to think that people are going to care quite yet, even though that they care about this totally different avenue. I want to have as many eyes and ears on it as possible. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I want the room to be full
Yeah.
before I would go there with something that's so personal and so important to me. But that being said, I have other projects that, you know, this is always going to be something that I can go to and it's really fun. I'm working on something right now, and I haven't mentioned this to anybody, but I'll tell you guys just because I'm
We get an
excited.
exclusive finally.
About it. I'm hoping that it will be out next year, but continue on going away a little bit, and I'm very proud of my involvement and my history with, you know, cocktails and spirits and everything, and hence me wanting to open up my own bar. But I don't want everything to be bar related. I'm doing something.
That's my point.
Yeah, well, this is still fun though. It's not heavy. It's not serious. Next summer will be the 25th anniversary of the very first concert that I ever went to on my own. And so I have been compiling. I'm putting together a book right now. I'm compiling a history of all of the shows that I've seen, all of the venues I've been to, including fun flyers, artifacts.
That's a lot of shows, dude.
It is a lot, yeah. Tickets,
Very cool.
ticket stubs, souvenirs, rare things that you know, like venues that don't exist anymore, and like giving a history on these venues, what they were, where they were, the
Sure.
bands that I saw, the bands that aren't together anymore. And I think, you know, while it's very exciting and personal for me, there's a lot of people that have
Exactly.
cared about these bands, and it's kind of taking this and going a step further. It's going to be a
Right.
bigger thing, but with like big, vibrant pictures and a fun history of it. So that's the next one.
And that is something that a lot of people, you're right, will identify with. Like,
think so.
I was at that show.
Or I went to that venue, whether it's like
yeah,
here
yeah.
in Columbus or whether it's in New York or Chicago
I saw
or whatever.
that show.
Yep. I was there.
Big, and this is not. It's not going to be every smaller band, like local bands. It's going to be, you know, the bigger bands that people know. You know, and 25 years of that, and I figured it's a good time to kind of release that.
Do you have you have a title you're playing with
I have
so far?
No, nothing yet. I've got a bunch of different things, and we can talk more about that like off the air. But I would like you guys' opinions, but nothing that's really set yet. Nothing. But I started writing the first Punk Rock and Cocktails. I had like this title for it, and I'm like, nobody's gonna know what the hell it's about. And like, what's, you know, just put it out there. What is it? It's Punk Rock and Cocktails. So that's what it is. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but it might not be as on the nose as Punk Rock and Cocktails, but that's the next thing. And
Cool.
How many times in the 25 years have you seen Bruce?
double digits. And then I got
Double
two.
digits.
I got two coming up in next month. One in Jersey and
that's
one
right.
here
You
in
travel.
Columbus.
That's right.
I travel for Bruce, for the boss.
reschedule.
I mean, this is realistically, it might be their last tour together. I think Bruce will play until he can't physically sing or play anymore. But
Sure.
the E Street Band, and that's another thing, you know, and kind of coming up on, and that's part of it. I'm glad you brought that up because this may be the last time that I get to see this full band going into like.
I'm the same
summer
thing with
release.
Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be touring after a couple of years.
Is
If
there
he's ever
any-
close, I'm doing
Is
it.
there anyone that you haven't seen or didn't get to see that you wanted to see?
Yeah, there's three people or three groups, I guess, that I didn't get to see. Tom Petty, I didn't get to see Joe Strummer or the Ramones.
Oh.
and I've seen members of the Ramones in
Right,
different
sure.
projects. I had
How'd you miss Tom Petty? That seems
It
like
just-
one that it seems like one that you would have gotten
yeah,
to.
it just never happened. Like there was opportunities. You know,
He was always a guy like, oh, we'll see him next time around.
Yeah.
Right, you know, he'll be around.
the older I
Yeah.
got, the more I got into him. So when I was a teenager and I'm like full of piss and vinegar, listening to the hardest, heaviest stuff, rah, 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 you know what I mean? Like I wasn't going to go to a Tom Petty show. Then I got a little bit older and I'm like, yeah, I'll see him next time. I'll
Right.
see him next time.
Oh, he'll come
and then
through
he,
again.
And then he
Right.
died, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, shit, you know, like I missed out on one of the all-time greats.
I have a Tom Petty memory that
Yeah.
has nothing to do with Tom Petty, but it
All right.
does.
And
yeah.
so
I was cocktailing before a Clippers game at Betty's, right?
okay, yeah,
And Tom Petty's Free Falling
sure,
came on.
okay.
And at the chorus, there was a guy who was singing at the top of his lungs. But every time he would get to the chorus of Free Falling, he dropped trowel completely and would scream out Free Ballin'.
Nice.
And he did it every single
In the bar?
In the bar. And the
See,
beautiful
we
thing
did that like in like junior high in the locker room.
No.
who
He
was
did
this
it-
guy?
He did it in the bar. And the beautiful thing is, I'm watching this occur is like nobody's blinking an eye. Nobody's blinking an eye. I'm like, this guy is just.
That's
he-
Bobby. He's
Yeah,
okay.
he does that. That's his
Bobby.
thing.
That's Bobby Lowballs.
He did,
Bobby
yeah,
Lowballs.
yeah. Yeah, and I
that's what
did.
he does.
I thought that because they were hanging like, oh, you're gonna have problems when you get older, pal. You're gonna
Step on those bad boys.
Yeah, those are gonna
Maybe you shouldn't
those
go
are gonna
free-balling
those
as
are gonna
much.
drop in the water before you even get a chance
that's
to
right.
do anything.
Yeah, a little less free ball, a little more support.
Gravity
There
is a
for Bobby
cruel
Lowballs.
mistress.
So every time I hear Free Falling, I think of that guy. Betty's,
How could you
know,
not?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's not my favorite memory to conjure back up again. But like,
He's tainted that song for you forever.
That's like an earworm. I can't hear anything but free balling
Thank
anymore.
you. It's very nice.
you know, it's like, wow, I can't believe that's happening. At the same time, you almost kind of admire him.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, that bravado.
Right to be that free to
Yeah.
just do free balling.
I'm going to ask you guys something. So you're asking me about, different people that I've seen. What's the best show you guys have ever been to? Do you have one? Or, I mean, not this, I know it's hard. You can't pick one. But is there one that really, for whatever reason, like that was special?
And see, now mine are going to be.
It doesn't matter who it is.
I could. Mine are going to be not weird. One you will identify with. One that I actually.
But you know what? I already will identify with it just because it's music and it's something
Yeah.
that you care about. And that's the beauty of, the language of music.
Common thread.
Yeah.
I actually shed tears
Yeah.
twice at two different artists. But Leonard Cohen.
Oh, I love
okay.
Leonard Cohen.
Nice.
Leonard Cohen. Saw Leonard
That's
Cohen.
cool. Was this older Leonard?
Yeah.
When his
older
voice was
Leonard.
just like
perfect.
perfect.
Yeah, it was just.
He was
it
made
just-
to be an old man
Dance
singing.
Yeah,
me
and,
to
No.
and
No.
just emoting those great lyrics that he's written over the years, and then it was just, and the band was great, but it was just. It was an emotional journey, and just like wow, and like, am I crying? Yeah, fuck, I'm crying.
Yeah.
I'm crying. Also, Andrea Bocelli.
Okay. See, I'm part Italian too. I
Can't
get
beat
that. You know what I mean? And like, I wouldn't necessarily go to a Bocelli show back in the day, but I kind of wish I would have.
Yeah,
In
Andrea
hindsight,
Bocelli.
I think.
And Tony Bennett.
Mm.
I've seen Tony Bennett
Boy.
twice.
R.I.p. to one of the greats. Yeah.
God bless him. God
Terrible
rest his
loss.
soul.
He was
Yeah.
something.
I'm gonna say something that's bullshit. I don't even know it.
It's hard to follow, isn't
matches
it?
up with that.
He should have went last.
Yeah.
What?
I
Because
saw,
those are real heartfelt answers. He said he was going to say a bullshit answer.
no. I saw the Pretenders with Iggy Pop
That's
Oh, wow.
cool.
at Hare Arena back in the '80s.
Dating.
Iggy
That
Pop.
was actually one of my first concerts. So
Iggy Pop for me is on my Mount Rushmore. Like he's the white whale that I haven't been able to get for one of these.
Oh, man.
I
You
huge
do a whole
Iggy Pop
book
fan.
just on him.
Maybe you could just do Iggy Pop and
yeah,
cocktails.
he never missed. Yeah,
I can't get
that's
through. I
right.
can't
Iggy
get a
Pop
hold
and
of him.
cocktails.
I even found his manager and I was like, radio silence.
Well,
Anyway.
just say Iggy Pop has never missed a neck day. That dude's neck is
yeah,
huge,
he's-
bro.
Just really veiny. I don't know. That's a good show though, Iggy, and I mean, it is.
That was good.
I think it's a good. When was that? Did you say?
I would say 82, 81.
Oh wow!
So it was the peak of the Pretenders on
Pretenders
MTV.
are a very underrated band.
Yes.
Oh, man, they're great.
Yeah, they really
Yeah.
are.
I had front row seats for them not too long
Yeah.
ago.
Really?
Iggy Pop opened for them, which I thought
At
was
that
kind
time,
of
I believe it because like
Inaccurate.
the Stooges broke up. Iggy went through like high highs and low lows, right? There were some lean years there where he was just coasting on name recognition alone.
But he was very entertaining. I mean, he was actually probably better than the Pretenders, but he didn't have the hits as the Pretenders had. But he was the energy of him. His concert was awesome. He was awesome.
Iggy, they're both, I mean, it would have been a great show. Iggy's a legend to me. I mean, he's on like across all musical styles. He's one of my 4 guys or peeps.
Saw Billy Joel and Elton John together. That was a great show.
That's cool.
I remember when they did
the Piano Man tour. That was a great tour. I've seen the Stones 3 times in different decades, much like you probably had with Bruce. Yeah.
So what were the decades and what were the noticeable differences in the performances, or were there any?
The World Series of Rock in Cleveland in the 70s.
Oh yeah,
cool.
They had like all those.
Yeah, it was. I want to say it was the Stones and Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, tight.
And so what were some of the lesser bands? I don't know, man. It was.
I know. I've seen the graphic. They're like they're
late
all
70s?
big names.
Yeah, Eddie Money.
Yeah.
Eddie Money was there, and it was the 70s. Then I saw them when they came to the Shoe. That
was just a few years ago.
Yeah.
That wasn't more than a few years ago. That was back in the 90s.
Oh,
Yeah.
So they've been at the Shoe twice then.
yeah, they were there. I was living in Columbus when they were here.
That one.
I think I was. Maybe.
And then
Zip
I
code
took
tour.
my daughter to see him at Nationwide Arena. Yeah.
If they come by close, I need to see those guys because I haven't seen them, and I got to see them before it's too late.
One of them.
But I've never seen Springsteen.
Yeah.
Bruce would
I
be
want to
cool.
see Springsteen. I think we were texting back and forth on Instagram that you're right. This might be my last chance to see.
Are you going to try to go to the Columbus show?
I haven't even thought about it because I've been so. It just goes in the back of my mind. I don't know how important it is to me to do it, but it's something that I would like to do.
Sure.
It's not.
Where's he playing?
The
September something.
Nationwide Arena.
Yeah, it's a makeup
September
date.
21st.
It's a makeup date.
It's a makeup date. We went to the Detroit show in the spring, and a couple guys there.
He got injured. I'm sorry, or sick or something. What did
He fell on some steps.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh no! Whenever he canceled the show, he got COVID, I think. But anyway, I was sitting next to a couple guys, probably about your age, roughly, and it was their first ever Springsteen show. Lifelong music lovers, and he was always a guy that like he's not our favorite, but we always wanted to see him. And at the middle of the show, one of the guys looks at me, and he goes, "This is amazing." Mm-hmm. He's like, "I have no idea why I've waited so long for this."
That's how I felt when I saw Elton John with my daughter. You know, like.
And I've seen him by himself, and I've seen Billy Joel by himself.
Yeah, so I
like
grew up
both
to
of them,
with Lion King Elton John. So I've never I never picture Elton John as like this badass rocker, and it was a fucking rock and roll show. It was awesome.
For
Awesome. No, that was a good show. The only show I cried at was Aretha Franklin. Which was kind of funny because it was at the Ohio State Fair and this ghetto folding chair.
You've told me that before, you were embarrassed that you were crying.
Yeah,
but I could tell that you were hyped the entire time we're talking. So what's the show? What's the one show though?
I don't know. I'm hyped because I keep thinking. I keep changing my mind.
What comes to mind?
The one right now is like indie rock jam band, My Morning Jacket.
Yeah.
They're popular now, but they released a live record from Bonnaroo 2004. But I was at that show, so it was kind of cool.
Oh,
that
you
I
were there?
Yeah, so like
That's
they have
cool.
a record of it, and it was raining, and you see like a picture of the audience, and I'm like, I was there. Yeah.
Third fucking row, dude.
Well, but it was the first time that I was like kind of part of history, and it just was
awesome.
It's very cool.
But to
what
formally
you mean.
answer your question, I go with my first answer, Leonard Cohen.
Yeah, that's
As
awesome.
far as
That
far
would be
as
a good
the-
one.
as
That
far
would
as a
be
show
awesome.
that
I only really knew him as like the Hallelujah guy for the majority of my younger years. And it was when he came back, when he was older and started releasing new music, that I really started to dive into his stuff. And I've been a fan ever since.
Do you like poetry? I've got a book of his poems
Oh, really?
that are just gut wrenching.
Yeah.
oh man,
I love all that kind of stuff.
Were they songs
and amazing.
first, or he just
both.
published
It's
them
a
as
bit of
poems?
a little bit of both,
Yeah.
but some of them are just poems. I mean, he was
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, he was a great one.
and I think he was with Rebecca De Mornay for a while.
like with
Yeah, they were a couple
The
for a while.
Rebecca De Mornay?
Yeah, back in the Risky Business days.
Dude.
Huh.
Yeah,
Good for him.
yeah, I think.
That's off.
That guy was a baller. That guy was a baller, man.
Yeah,
He was always cool.
always
You know?
cool.
He was always cool.
Epitome of cool.
lover.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, that's one of those things where it's all very different answers about music. But
And
it's
you ask me
it's the
again tomorrow,
common
I'll come up with a
thread.
different answer.
Totally.
But
But it's the common thread, right? Like here we are sitting here, like I love so much more than just punk rock. This is at my heart, but I love so much more. And like I would go to every one of those shows that you guys just named, and I think it would be awesome, And like they're all different, and we're all just like, yeah.
And then let me
Yeah.
throw a wrench in it.
Yeah.
Let me throw a wrench in it.
Yeah.
Barry Manilow.
You know what? I would actually see him.
I like Barry Manilow.
I would look at that
I
guy.
like Barry Manilow.
You and
Let me
Stacey
tell
have
you
the
something.
I'm not
for
hating,
Barry.
but you lost me there.
No. Let me explain. And it's where you're at in life.
Yeah.
I'm older than you. I'm older than you. And when things would go romantically awry, there was nobody better at that particular time in my life than to put on the Even Now album
Okay.
from Barry Manilow and just get it all out. I can tell something's up. You haven't touched your scotch. You've been staring
eye
out the
contact,
window.
It's eye
Now you're staring at your watch. Together, you and I have had so much.
I don't know that song.
I don't either.
I think
I only know like the Copacabana
it's a deep
thing.
cut on the even. It's a deep cut on Even Now.
We sing the Copacabana because of my dog Lola. That's
Yeah,
the song,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Their
That's
name
probably
was
the song
Lola.
I hate. That's probably the one I don't care for the most.
I get that though because I've got musicians that Bruce is a perfect example of that. People are like, oh, it's the Born in the USA guy. I'm like, he's not so much more than that.
So much more than that.
And it's not even about what you think it's about. You know what I mean? It's
Barry Manilow, man, king
By
of the
the
key
way,
change.
He's coming to Columbus.
I know he's coming to Columbus.
very soon.
August 25th.
Yes.
Barry Manilow.
He's 80. He's 80. He's 80, and he's going to be at Nationwide Arena.
Are you going?
I don't know.
You're
going.
going.
I don't know. Maybe.
Come on.
I don't have tickets for
I'll
that.
get the tickets.
Come on. You work at a radio station.
Yeah,
There's got to be
I was gonna
tickets
say.
somewhere.
Yeah, I don't
Come
think
on.
those are flying off the shelves.
Pull back.
I bet you they are.
Pull back a
I
con. Come
beg
on.
to differ.
I would be curious to know where the ticket sales were. He's playing where?
Nationwide.
That is. It's sometimes it baffles me or blows my mind. I guess I should say some of the artists that are capable of playing a venue that big, and I didn't realize they had that kind of a fan base.
But
You know, he's
there's
one of them.
nobody
I did not
over
know.
80 in the top rows in the back. By
Yeah.
the way, you can't see.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Can't
I
walk
mean,
up that
he's,
far.
don't get me. I don't let me go down the rabbit hole. But he
Sing
made
some-
a
sing
he
some
made a
more
good
Barry
living.
Manilow
He
for us.
made a good living as a jingle writer too.
Yeah.
He wrote some of the most famous jingles of all time.
Really?
Yeah. With a broom and a mop, scrub the bottom and top. There is nothing so clean like my burger machine. You deserve a break today, so get up and get away to McDonald's. He wrote that.
He wrote McDonald's.
He wrote McDonald's.
And by Menon, I think.
I know that one.
It was a short day. Much like Jesse's beer and a shot day. That was a short day for Manilow. Bye, Menon.
That'll be $50,000.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Rip me off a piece of that. Fancy feast.
Yeah, man. He wrote a ton of jingles.
Okay, well, respect to Barry Manilow.
Look, that's
You're defending
that's,
Barry Manilow.
You know what? That's an embarrassing to say, but it's also not an embarrassing
No, I
thing
mean,
to
like
say.
what you like.
Be honest.
I think it's cool.
I
Like
could
what
sit
you
here
like.
and tell you. I said Leonard Cohen.
Yeah.
That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very hip. Very cool reference. And then I say Barry Manilow in the same breath.
An
I don't
American
care.
treasure. An American treasure.
Andrea Bocelli. I saw Pavarotti.
That's cool, though.
Pavarotti brought me to tears.
That's cool. I get it.
You know, it's what is music if not a range of things?
Sure.
It's about where you're at in life and how it affects you at a certain
That's
time.
true.
I never disagreed with you. Like you are. I'm sold. I appreciate your fandom.
Hall & Oates.
Not
Hall &
for
Oates, by
not
the
for
way.
me,
Love this.
but I appreciate
during
your
Hall &
love
Oates.
of him.
I should go to Bruce Springsteen with you.
Yes.
And you should come to Barry Manilow with me.
Which one? Wait. Which one's first?
And then a podcast afterwards.
The Barry
Exchanging
Manilow's
notes.
first.
You need to do
All
it.
right, man. Maybe.
Do it.
What would we even call that? That podcast. What would the hybrid of Bruce Springsteen and Barry Manilow
Something
be?
with the boss.
Yeah.
What's Barry Manilow's nickname? Does he have one?
Mano Spring.
Well, they call us fans Fanilows.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'd be like
Bossolos.
yeah.
All right.
Bruce
Be like
Solos.
Barbenheimer.
Table it.
Like
Yeah,
table
right.
it.
Barbenheimer, but
Yeah.
something different.
Yeah, exactly.
The Copa on the edge of town. There you go. There's a Copa on the edge of town.
But also, props to him. He's 80. Like I said, he's 80.
Yeah.
And he's
Good for good for him
out there.
Somebody that I always put, and I know that's probably completely different, but I was growing up always put in the same kind of category was Neil Diamond.
Right, saw Neil.
Sure.
But you know what? I don't even know if Neil Diamond's still performing or not, but like I would see him. And you said Hall and Oates, I would see them too.
That's one
think
of my favorite concerts.
I think they'd be a lot of fun, and I think because like every ball game you go to, every bar you're at, people are singing "Sweet Caroline."
Sure,
you know?
sure.
It's just if nothing else,
Yeah.
it'd be fun for that.
And all the hits that he had, but he wrote so many songs as well. I mean,
Yeah.
as a songwriter, he wrote a ton of songs. I think he opened up, if I remember correctly, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, I'm wrong.
Talking about Neil Diamond.
Neil Diamond. I think he was the first act. I think he opened up the Schottenstein Arena. He was the first concert at the Schottenstein Arena, and it was Neil Diamond in the round. Oh yeah, one of them circular stages. So you would see him, and every once in a while, you just get a shot of him shaking his bony ass.
I think that's Schottenstein's family favorite performer, actually. So that makes sense.
It might be. It
makes
might have
sense.
been. But yeah, I've seen Neil. Let everybody scream
I would
that
go see
out.
Neil Diamond. I'm way past the age of trying to like impress people with like my taste. In music. Like, I
Exactly.
like what I like.
Exactly.
Like if somebody, like these are the bands that I like. But you know what? I don't know many times in my life when somebody's ever offered me a free ticket to a show that I didn't go. If I was able to, you know, I would go.
I've actually seen some of the bands in that book.
Yeah.
I saw Cake.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Oh, Cake's in there.
Cake is
in
super
there.
fun. Yeah.
Cake's in there.
Yeah.
There's a couple other ones in there. That
I had at the book release, which you were there. I don't know if you remember this or not, but a guy comes up. He's like, and this always cracks me up talking about Cake, and he goes, "Hey man, I saw you did a cake cocktail. You should have named it this." And I was like, "Okay, like,
all right.
Thanks for telling me what you would have done differently."
Right.
All right. You write You write the book.
Yeah, it's like, it just made me laugh. I'm like,
Next time, do this.
why would you do that? You're like, you should have named it this. I'm like, okay, cool. Thanks for your feedback. Like, what do you want me to do with that?
That's you bring up an interesting point
What's
in
supposed to do with that
respect
info?
in respects to people's critiques and comments and feedback. Like, you know what I would have done? No. What would you have done? You know, what would you have done after I slaved over this for days, months, years? What would you have done differently on this one particular piece? That
That's why I
when
stopped.
you're making drinks. Somebody's like, you know how I make these at home? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, please tell me. I really want to hear how you make
They're
these at home.
mansplaining you.
Mansplaining me.
That's why I stopped reading the comments on my films. So
It just made me laugh. Yeah, right. Yeah. I guess if you get in the comments, it's always good. It just made me laugh though. It was like, this is first. Oh, you should have named it this. I'm like, what can I do with that?
What a great idea!
Yeah, what a great
$50.
Well, like you
and,
said,
and you're probably very polite, and so am I. But you know, I just once I would like to say, you know what I would have done? You know what? No, you know what? No, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't say that. I just laughed because I thought it
yeah.
was so funny. You know, like what are you supposed to do with that? You're like, oh, I guess I missed it on that one. Are you buying a book or not?
I love it.
Or like when I've done a stand-up set and I've actually had somebody come up to me like, "Hey, you're doing really good. That one joke didn't work out very well, though, did it?" Like, fuck off! I just did 49 minutes of stand-up comedy.
He was dwelling
and
on
you're
the 30
focusing-
seconds
You're
that
dwelling
didn't
on the
land.
one joke
Naysayers.
that just kind of laid there.
It's like, when's your set, pal? When you going up there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
People are funny.
Bilbo Publishing.
Biblio.
Bilbo.
Bilbo
Dude,
Baggins.
yeah, you're going to the optometrist on Friday, right? Yeah,
Do that.
See if you can move that appointment
Wear
up.
some glasses.
Bilbo.
No, what I was gonna say is we've talked to the folks at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame recently, and because they let in Dolly Parton into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Let her in.
Well,
they-
she was
What
nominated.
do you mean by that?
She was nominated. She got the
Sure.
votes.
Just joking.
So, but what they said is she embodies the heart of rock and roll.
Yeah.
And and their perspective on the hip hop and the country people is that it's not necessarily the music; it's just the idea, the soul that of being a rock and roller. And I guess that's kind of what we're getting at with your Shooter Jennings and Barry Manilow to a degree.
Right.
There's all that thread that embody that
100%.
the rock
man.
and roll in our heart.
I get my cred with Leonard Cohen. I get my dread with Barry Manilow.
I'm a big believer that you should never have to wear a uniform, or you should never have to change who you are.
Right.
Or lie about what you like. You should always be true and authentic,
Sure.
and as long as you're not hurting anybody, the world is a better place for that.
Dude, not to
So-
mention it's easier.
And it's so much
shit.
easier,
It's
right?
easier.
People get overwhelmed with the idea of people outside of the rock and roll genre being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but what they fail to realize is That's just the name of it. It's the Music Hall of Fame.
Right.
It is.
Right? It's rock and roll just sounds cool. It's the Music Hall of Fame. People are like, Dolly Parton's not rock and roll. You know, Jay-Z's not. Like, no shit, they're not like the traditional idea of rock and roll. But
I like the
Seeger's in
Carpenters.
it as well.
I love the
Right.
Carpenters.
Karen Carpenter
good
had one of the
songs.
most magnificent, beautiful
Voices
voices
ever.
of our generation ever. She was a songbird. She was
And
oh,
deserves
She was a really
to
good
be
drummer.
in the rock and roll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
There's a video of her doing drums with like I don't know, one of the famous drummers, and he was just like she's just like going toe to toe.
Yeah, that was her.
That's-
That was her. That was her
the
instrument.
amazing thing about music. You know, I was lucky enough to see Frank Sinatra in 1984
See,
in Cincinnati.
was it not great? Because you didn't
Now you're
mention
just
that
showing
until
off.
now.
No, I was just going.
Kind of forgot about it.
I didn't forget about it, but it was great. That man took an arena and turned it into a small, intimate room. It was amazing. Yeah,
I could put Frank Sinatra in one of these books, and like I dare somebody to complain about it.
right.
Because he was a badass, and if he
You
wasn't like
should.
true,
You should.
just to get people to bitch about it.
yeah. You know,
It might sell,
get people
it might sell
talking.
books.
Sinatra
Maybe,
was great.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love Sinatra. I mean, Sinatra is. I'm looking at a picture of the Rat Pack right now. They're
Yeah,
the
the Rat Pack was
the epitome
very,
of cool to me.
that
The epitome of cool.
All right, let me ask you this question. You bring up a good question because if there was an era that I could move back to and be the adult that I have been in the last 15 years, say from 50 to where I'm at now at 64, that would have been it. I would have loved to have been in their era at that age in my 50s.
Yeah.
With the Rat Pack in the 60s, and that's what I would have liked. Is there a time in music that you would wish that you could harken back to and actually been in it while it was happening?
2018 was a really good year.
If you went to the Elizabethan age, I would have been disappointed.
Yeah.
No, honestly, that's so
You
funny.
strike me as somebody that
Johann
would
Sebastian
have fucking loved to have been
Yeah.
in the 60s when music was evolving and changing and
Yeah.
there was a
60 to
British
75
invasion
would be
and-
tight.
There's a couple. There's a couple, but honestly, that's one of them. What you're talking about, that'd be on my list as well, because I think Sinatra and Dino and Sammy are the freaking coolest, and I would have loved to have just been in a room with them when they were hanging out.
Right.
You know what I mean? It would have been a dream come true. I would have loved to have been, in New York during, the punk scene of the 70s and CBGBs and, Max's Kansas City and all those places opening up. And also I wasn't like super big into like the predecessor of like the art music scene, the predecessor to punk with like Velvet Underground. I'm like, not really my thing so much. That was a little too pretentious for me. But yeah, I mean, to be there at that time, I think would have been something really special, and also one that isn't maybe holding as high of an esteem as those, but Southern California in like the early 90s with all the Southern California punk bands that
Sublime.
came out of there. Really, a lot of the bands that really had a huge impact and shaped me as a youth. That was really, those bands are the ones that got me into punk rock to begin with.
Right,
You
yeah,
know,
right.
Rancid, Bad Religion, The Offspring, Green Day back in the day, Pennywise, Sublime, all those bands, NoFX. They're really, really big for me. So different things there, I would have, I'm a big Johnny Cash fan too, seeing some
Wish I could have
seeing
seen
some
Johnny
of like the
Cash.
Sun Records jam sessions back in the days,
Yeah.
Yeah.
with those guys,
The $1 Million
Carl
Quartet.
Perkins, and all those guys.
Yeah.
So there's a few. I like all that stuff, and it's it all would have been fun for different reasons, but that's fun to think about, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would have, maybe visit for like a weekend. I don't like I'm a little too much of a princess to have really enjoyed the mid '70s New York punk scene that much. I like a clean shower and a nice bed at the end of the day. I don't know if I could have like slept on the floor of CBGBs. I like modern day conveniences.
What did you do?
Toenail clippers,
So-
anyone?
when were you born?
81.
81. Okay, so you missed disco completely.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in high school when disco was.
Were you in the disco at the time?
I wasn't into disco, but I went to discos.
Yeah,
because that's
what you did.
that's
and there's
what-
bands like Kiss and the Stones, and they dabbled in it. And some of the big bands,
yeah.
It was it's not my thing, but I would have been probably on the complete opposite side of that spectrum. But I'm weird in the fact because like everybody is like so, in their own camps about like you got disco and you got like arena rock in the 70s, right? And you got punk rock and all these different things. And like, I mean, I probably wouldn't have been in the disco, but I would have wanted to go see Zeppelin, like, and the Misfits.
The Saturday Night Fever
Like,
album was blaring out of every dorm room at Ohio State University.
I believe it.
But also blaring out of my room was Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
And we had a rule. We had speakers. We totally bastardized our dorm room. We had speakers in the bathroom. And the rule was when you took your shower, because we had one of those, we had a dorm room that had its own shower. Nice. So when you got in the shower, you got to listen to whatever you wanted to listen to. And we had everybody had, my roommate Dave Kaplan was into country. So when he was in the shower, he was blaring George Jones and classic country. Greg DeTore, who's been on the podcast, he was a big jazz guy. And there'd be like Buddy Rich and just great jazz artists. I would put on Sinatra. And it was like a very eclectic room in 1977 and 78
really cool.
as far as music. And then there was also the rock music too. We like some rock bands as well. You remember your first concert was what?
So there were two separate things. The first concert that I ever went to, my mom and dad sent me to, was the Temptations when I was a kid.
How cool!
Which was really cool. I think. I mean, I'm very fortunate. And I'm like, that's a cool one to say.
Yeah.
And I love Motown. I love R&B. I love all that. The first one that I went to on my own, like with my own money, was the summer of '99, and much as the anniversary, it was Ozfest '99.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then after that, it was Motley Crue and the Scorpions. Two very different, but like I would any show I could go to. I mean, when I was like in my like late teens and all through my 20s, I would go to like a concert a week. Like I mean, at least just crank them out. I mean, I still go to a lot.
Yeah.
But it's just one of my favorite things to do.
First concert, do you remember?
Actually, it was in high school, and it was Men at Work.
Mine was in high school as well.
Okay.
Men at Work.
Men at Work.
Good one.
That's cool.
Hansberry, first concert, do you remember?
The after a preseason Colts game, the John Stamos Beach Boys performed.
Okay.
So I saw them, but that was a little kid. But the first one that I like went and spent money on, the Bare Naked Ladies.
Oh,
Bare
there you
Naked
go.
Ladies.
Look at
Eagles, early Eagles,
Oh, nice.
with the Doobie Brothers.
Nice.
Oh, I've seen those guys in concert.
And opening up was Average White Band.
Have not seen them in concert.
I don't really. Do I know? That sounds familiar.
Average White
White
Band.
Band?
Pick
I
up
don't
the
know.
pieces. Ba-da-da, ba-ba-da, ba-da-da, ba-da-da. It's my walk-in music.
I don't know
If
that.
you heard it, you would.
Yeah, bring it up on.
I am an Eagles defender. Ever since I blame Lebowski for this, it became fashionable for people to hate on the Eagles.
Yeah.
So many guys that I know that are in the rock and roll like hate on the Eagles.
Dude, the Eagles
I
are
think that they're
the best.
amazing, and I will defend them till the day I die.
They're some of the
tired
best songwriters of all time.
I'm tired
They're
of
an American
people of my
band.
generation and younger hating on the Eagles. They're phenomenal.
Give a listen.
Long intro.
Oh yeah, I love that song. It makes me feel like I'm in the Reservoir Dogs or Swingers every time I'm
Yeah.
walking.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Steve
Average
was
White
walking
Band.
song.
That's my walk-in music.
That's cool walking music.
That's my walk-in music. If I were walking anywhere and be able to have music that was playing when I walked in, it'd be that.
That would be it. If
I
you,
can make that happen.
if you,
It's hard not to feel cool with that playing.
Yeah, the starting shortstop for the Pirates. That would be your walk-up music when you're,
Yep.
when you're
Well,
going.
I don't know how I know.
look at the
I think I know
album.
that from a movie or
The
something.
lady's butt.
Yeah, it's been on.
It's been probably a lot of movies.
it's
I know
it's
that
been-
very. I know that very
It's been
well.
a lot of soundtracks.
All right, so I have a question.
They're actually from Scotland.
Oh, are
Never
you?
would have
Really?
guessed.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. So
You
my
got-
question is,
yeah.
if you could be a time traveler and be a fly in the wall for any recording session of an album,
Good
which
question.
album would you be there?
That is good.
That's a good one.
I know what mine is.
Okay, well,
All
tell
right,
me yours.
well, let him think and you say
Yeah.
yours.
Pet Sounds.
Oh, yeah, good one.
Good one.
I would totally be. I mean, I'd be there a long time. Probably die a husky fly on the wall because it was such a long recording
Brian will be
session.
like, I hear a fly.
Yeah.
Let's microphone it.
Yeah,
use
but I think Pet Sounds. I think it's some people would say Sgt. Pepper's, but
I would, my first answer was like, well, what Beatles record do you pick?
but I would rather sit there and go, we got to do something better than the Beatles.
Yeah,
and go
because
Pet,
Pet Sounds was so innovative and so different
Yeah.
and so just
Yeah.
that's a great one. I
That
don't
is
know
a
if
great one. I'll tell you the bands that come to mind, and I don't have an answer yet.
An album.
I know, but I'm working through it out loud. You know, something from Nirvana would have been really, really special to be a part of. Something from the Beatles, something from Bruce, right? That's a good answer. I wish I would have thought of that, but I can't take that, so that's a good one. But those are the first ones that pop in my mind, right? Like those really, you know, maybe Johnny Cash live at Folsom Prison.
You don't want to be in the...
Oh, man, right?
Cool. Yeah.
You
And
don't
they didn't want him
room?
to do that.
I know.
They didn't want him to do that show,
Yeah.
and ended up being like one of his best-selling albums of all time.
Very interesting.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool one. I would say, I don't know. Just the...
You want to be in the room when like the first recording of Born to Run? The very first.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
First time you lay it down, dude.
There's reasons why that I'm not saying it out loud, right? Because like Bruce Springsteen, he has the nickname the Boss because he was
A dick.
notoriously hard on the band and recording sessions.
Sure.
So they weren't exactly like he would make them play the same thing over and over and over
That's how
and
Tom
over.
Petty was.
I mean,
too.
like Gary Talent from the band he's called him a dictator in recent years. Like they're friendly, but they're almost employees of his in a way. So I don't know how enjoyable that would be from that perspective, right? To see like this creative process.
Different
You'll
perspective of
probably-
your hero.
right? So with Kurt Cobain, you don't know what you're getting with Nirvana. I think it all comes back to maybe something by the Beatles or the Stones, just because they were that early time when rock and roll was still trying to figure out what it would turn into. You know, obviously rock and roll existed already. You know, Chuck Berry and before, Little Richard and everything before them. But I don't know. I don't know the album. That's an unbelievably cool question, and I was not prepared for that whatsoever.
Mine's Sinatra in the wee small hours. Because that was at the time that was what they called the first thematic album in respects to the choices
concept
of the
album type of
concept
deal,
album, and in respects to the songs. And there's just so many great songs on there, and just. I mean, Sinatra was just one of those guys that just, you know, he knew how to sing it, he knew how to phrase it, he knew how to evoke the right emotions in the song. I would have liked to have been in the studio watching that magic happen.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
I have my answer.
Okay.
London Calling.
Oh, great answer.
That's my answer.
Great
Classic,
answer.
right? Yeah, the
Great
classic.
answer.
That's my answer.
It's a good answer.
My admiration for Joe.
right?
It's in there.
It is. My admiration for Joe Strummer like knows no bounds. It is. He was an amazing human being, I think, by all accounts, and I think a true artist. Anyway,
There you go.
Didn't mean to cut you off. I just hit
No,
me.
you're good. I'm glad you thought of it. Now I know they're not the only ones to do it, but music from Big Pink, the band, and the whole premise is that they rented this house, this cottage up in Woodstock, and they just like held up there, ate a bunch of bologna sandwiches, did a bunch of drugs, and made this record. So it'd just be cool to like be at the house while the band
when they
is
were
making
doing
the
it?
band.
Big Pink.
Yeah, Big Pink.
Do I know them?
The band? No, the band.
The band.
The band.
Oh, the band.
The band.
Album. The band.
Oh, the band.
I thought you
band,
said
the
the band. I got you. Big Pink is. I know the
album.
band. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the way you worded that. I'm like, I never heard. How do I?
And the same thing.
That's a good one. That's a good one. The band is
the
good.
Basement Tapes with Dylan was the same thing.
Yeah,
He was there with
yeah.
them. So I know other bands have done that. You know, you go hold up at a cool cottage or a cabin or a castle or whatever. But that's the one that popped in mind.
Yeah, because there's so many people that we may admire, but like being involved in that process might not be a joy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's
But if
why
you're just sitting around doing a bunch of
just sitting
drugs
around.
and hanging out
Yeah.
for a week, month.
Yeah, but to
month
sit
at a
around and
time.
watch the crazies make music, that'd be awesome.
it would be
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, and there you go. That's music in a nutshell. I mean, how everybody's got a different take on it, and where you're at, and how it affected you, and how it continues to affect you. That's the beautiful thing about music. It's
Beautiful language. Yeah. It's just something that we all have in common. And I think, you know, if we're all just happy for each other, when we appreciate somebody's artistry and their music, that's the way it should be. You know, not judgment. You don't have to like everything somebody else likes, but that's awesome that you found the passion. You know?
Right.
Taylor Swift, awesome. Bruce Springsteen, awesome. Tom
And
Petty,
we all
awesome.
have certain albums and certain music that we put on at a certain time because it reflects how you're feeling, right? I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
you know, you want to party, you got an album that you know you want to party. You want to be sad and you want to get it all out. There's an album that you put on, you know?
I got my fun in the sun music, and I got my sad bastard music too.
Yep.
You know, there's a time and a place for both.
You know, back in the day when you wanted to set the mood for romance, you had,
Get the Dave Matthews. It was Dave Matthews for us in high school.
Little CNC music factory.
Was that Dave Matthews?
Yeah,
would be
hey, honey, you want to put on Crash and go parking?
Gross.
Yeah,
Dave
man.
Matthews.
Yeah.
Dude,
Seriously.
I was a senior in 1999. Like
Oh
that
my
was
God,
Dave
dude.
Matthews' prime.
I was too, Bob. No.
That's your romantic go-to, Dave Matthews Band?
Not
I mean,
anymore.
no,
Not
it's
anymore.
fine.
Not anymore.
I'm
Not anymore. Not anymore.
not
At the
judging.
time.
No
At
judgment.
the high school.
No judgment.
Right
bro.
now, I'm just. It's like the quickest song I can
All right.
find.
Okay. So
Wrap this up.
we're going back to let's go back. Let's go back to you. Romantic
Some
go-to.
podcast
Romantic
remorse.
go-to. Who you putting on? What was
I
it?
always go with like the classics, like Marvin Gaye, Al Green, newer stuff, Ben Harper and the Innocent Criminals.
Okay.
Like sexy music, like
Sexy
really,
music.
like really, really good stuff. You know,
For me, the Walrus of Love.
Barry
Barry White.
yeah.
Barry White.
I said Manilow. Yeah.
Barry White.
Barry
See, Barry White's that's a
Barry
great-
White,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah, do you know Ben Harper? Have you heard?
Of course I know Ben
Yeah,
Harper.
he's amazing,
yeah.
isn't he?
Yeah.
I would just listen to some of his stuff yesterday.
Yeah.
It's just he's
so talented.
He's so good.
Yeah, Barry White would get. Barry White would. I would be naked first before.
You don't take off the
after
clothes.
hear Barry
Oh
White.
yeah.
If it's gonna take you a while longer, that's fine. I'll wait. But I'm good. I'll just be in the other room.
Sam Cooke was another one.
Sam Cooke was
Cooke.
awesome. Yeah.
I think Sam Cooke may be my favorite singer of all time.
Oh wow.
Maybe like I think he's amazing. So the Nothing Could Change This Love was the first song Christina and I danced to at our wedding.
So see, there's a connection.
Yeah.
There's a connection.
He's amazing.
It's now. Do you and your wife? You're very flexible because
That's what we hear.
try to-
No. In respect, because I'm sure you guys come in the middle with a mutual appreciation, but you were also at a Taylor Swift concert.
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important. We both. I mean, kind of like what we're talking about.
And
here.
I'm not. And that's not a diss on Taylor Swift. She's
No,
amazing.
no, she's amazing.
She's
I was there
amazing.
too.
Yeah. He was there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Taylor Swift's amazing. No, but I get your question. That's a great question. We're both super passionate about music, and we both came from places of loving music when we met, but we liked different things. Right. The first time, and I think maybe I told you guys this before, but when she met my parents, we all met at a Bruce Springsteen show together. It's important because this was something that was special for me, and I wanted to introduce her into like not just my world, my parents, but this is all part of it, right? And she liked I guess what you refer to as like emo pop punk stuff.
Okay.
In the late 90s, early 2000s.
sure.
Dashboard Confessional.
Yeah. Like them, Brand New, Taking Back Sunday, and there was some of that was like kind of adjacent to what I liked. Like she liked some ska, some stuff, but she also liked some pop, and we like so many of the same bands together. But I think it's really important that like I would never go to a Taylor Swift show on my own. I'm glad I did.
That'd be creepy.
It was a little long for my liking. It was could have ended an hour earlier, but she's really, really talented. And Lord knows I have taken Christina to like shows that she did not. Like I've taken her to Iggy Pop. She hates Iggy Pop, and she was a good sport about it, And I've taken. She just took me to see the Misfits for my birthday in Jersey last month. She hates the Misfits.
Yeah.
I love them. You know what I mean?
She loves
That's
you,
that's
man.
A good
She
one.
does.
It's a good one.
So like I will go whatever. It's like I think you got to support each other's interest, right?
Sure.
And I was going to take her to another Taylor. I say take her. We were going to go together to another Taylor Swift show, but she just wanted to do the one. But anytime she wants to go do something like that, I'm there because I was talking to a guy behind me. He was there with his daughter, and he was about my age, and Christina was off like looking at merch or something, and I was sitting in our seats, and he goes, "This is what it's about, man." He goes, "Doing things for and with people that you love."
Right.
And that's what it's all about. And that being said, it's not like it was a shitty show. Like Taylor
No.
Swift's amazing,
Yeah.
But
It was awesome.
yeah, so we'll we go to shows together. Most of the stuff lines up, but every once in a while there's some outliers, and you love each other. You do things like
You
that.
take
right?
that musical bullet.
Yep. Ironically enough, the last time Mallory went to like one of my shows was Leonard Cohen.
Leonard Cohen?
Because it might have been the same tour. But
Did you go?
Yeah, I saw him in Chicago.
I saw him in
I think
Chicago.
it was the same
Okay.
tour.
You didn't see him when he was in Columbus.
No,
All right.
I didn't live
I was
here
gonna say,
yet.
I didn't see you there.
But he
would've seen
played
me-
like
you-
3 hours long and like 4 sets.
Yeah.
So it
If
was
you're a
on.
fan, it's awesome. If
it
you're
was-
not, it's rough.
It was on a Wednesday
You
night,
know?
and she's a teacher. And if you're not a fan of Leonard Cohen, that's a
If you're not a
commitment.
fan of anybody,
So we
that long
both
of a
kind
show,
of
if
came
you're
to
not into it,
a mutual
right.
agreement of like, all right, there are some shows we'll go together, and some that it's okay if we go on our own.
Yeah, I mean,
Leonard Cohen was the one.
the funny thing is this, like, I've got, buddies that I go to I've been to shows with you, like we go to shows together and stuff, but I just really enjoy going with Christina because we just love the live music element of it and just the
That's
experience
awesome.
of it. It's really fun,
Yeah.
It's
I do
nothing
miss
beats
that.
going to a show with her. A couple Bruce ones coming up, and then I think I asked her if she would write the foreword of my book. Because like, what
Nice.
better person? I don't want one of the bands that I've seen to write it because it's not about that. It's about the perspective of the concert goer. Who have I went to shows with for the last 10 years of my life more than my wife?
That's awesome.
Good conversation.
Yep.
Dino,
What?
question.
John,
Should should we end the show with a sip of the white dog for our guest?
You're kind of reading my mind, dude.
Am I?
Yeah, a little bit.
Nice.
I was gonna
Say 160. No, listen, I love.
Just a sip.
I was gonna close how we almost opened. I'm gonna get a straw and let you just get
I was gonna say because I love you guys and I love the guys over at Echo. They do amazing stuff. But you said this is 160 something.
Yeah,
just
but
proof your
it's like a
lips.
taste.
Yeah. Just
If I
not a
touch my
drink
mustache, I
of
won't have to
it.
shave.
Not a drink of it. Just a taste of it.
Okay. Yeah,
All right.
let's do it.
All right.
What the hell?
Oh, we've had it. This is just for you.
Oh, just for me?
Yeah, just for you. We don't.
Wait, hold
Drink
on a
up and we'll
second.
tell you.
I might have a tiny sip.
Okay,
straws.
Lloyd. It's a good Dumb and Dumber
This is
reference.
great. My dad was on the episode last week. or
Yes.
last month. Yeah.
Yes, I've been meaning to ask you about that because
It was a lot
I
of
knew you were
fun.
going to do that.
Yeah, it was good.
But it was fun,
How fun
and
was that?
and we started talking music again. Again, it's that common
Yeah.
thread, and I know
Yeah.
your dad is huge on your influence on you,
Yeah.
and same with my dad. And
Yeah.
it's funny. I have 2 older sisters, and they were just busting our balls, just making fun of us.
Oh, afterwards?
Yeah, in a good.
That was a
they're-
good podcast,
It was just
though.
ribbing us,
Your dad's a cool guy. I
It
like
was
him.
fun. It
Yeah,
was
I
a
like
lot
him.
of
It was
fun.
good.
That's fun. I haven't had a chance to listen to that yet. I'll have to check it out.
He loved it. He ate that up.
All right, let's try this
good guy.
white dog.
There's just do the little.
Those are nice straws. Where'd you get those?
I got everything in this house, Hansberry. You know that.
Here, can I hear?
I want the curly.
That's exactly what I was going to do.
Do you have a curly straw? I want a curly straw.
We'll stretch it out.
I'll
dude.
stretch it out. The curly straw.
Let's just stretch it out.
All right. Did you get some?
No, I didn't get a straw yet. Dino's over playing one too.
He's holding back.
They're not going to work because
You
they're
ready?
stretched.
Yeah, that was a good one. Oh yeah, no, they don't work.
That'll work.
Curly straws.
Just tape them together.
All right. Okay, now here we go. Now, so you guys, listeners at home, will have be able to taste this in about 2 years at Dino's funeral.
AKA the grand opening of my bar.
See how everything works out, dude.
Can I take? I don't need to wait for everybody.
The grand opening / wake.
Yeah, right.
In order not to be afraid of death, you must embrace it.
That's
We
true.
could call it coming and going.
Ah,
Say
that's it.
Dino's
Coming and
celebration of life.
We'll put that on the list.
Put it on a list.
Yeah, right, okay.
I still get a licorice flavor.
Here we go. All right. You get some?
Oh, was I supposed to wait?
No, man.
I
Go
already
for
took
it.
I already took it.
Woo!
Licorice?
Give me. Slide over.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, my tongue is like on fire right now.
It mellows into it, not initially. Like
I mean-
I get like the sweet corn right out of the
Yeah.
gate, but then it mellows into like the licorice, but not licorice in a bad way. Like
Right,
you know,
right,
like
right.
a lot of times you say licorice, people think
Hey,
like
remember, this is-
Jaeger or whatever. But
It's
like,
high rye too.
yeah, it's delicious already.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the licorice is so faint. I don't want to scare anybody off. by
No,
saying
it's not
licorice.
like-
That's just the first
No.
thing that came to
It's
mind.
like very, 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 very faint. Like
Yeah,
it's
put the cap
yeah,
back on it.
that is lovely. Thank you for sharing that.
That's
a special treat.
Well, that's why we
sweet.
said when we first
weedy
got a little,
finish.
this
Yeah.
is like the first distillation. We thought this is very promising of what the future holds
Yeah.
for this particular
I'm
blend.
excited already. Like, shout out to you guys. Shout out to Joe and Nikhil and the crew over there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's an easy collaboration to get behind.
Yeah.
All
They're
you
so
all you
fun.
guys doing
Things
that.
go
Yeah.
guys.
And that's about 15
Yeah.
gallons in on the distillation. By
Yeah,
the
we're
way.
having
That's
a lot of-
exciting.
We're having a lot of fun. But
That's
yeah,
exciting.
right? I mean,
That's
just
exciting.
for those people who like moonshine, white dog. I mean, this could get bottled right now as
my
is, and
God.
just with something crazy, you know.
I'll be honest
done.
with you. I know what it is, but like, it wasn't as hot as I expected it to be.
Yeah,
It was.
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
I've had
but,
whiskey
like, it was,
that is
Yeah.
120 proof. That is just
for
as
it
hot
to be
or hotter.
160 something proof. That's not.
Take another sip.
Fairly smooth.
As Dino lights a cigarette. Mushroom cloud.
We're off to a good start. Yeah.
Richard Pryor and shit.
Pryor.
All right. Well, we got to start wrapping it up. But that's a great way to end it, Whitney. That's a great way to end it.
Blowing up.
Let me
house.
do this one more time. We mentioned available on Amazon.com. Also, your website. Did you actually say what your website was?
StRussellProductions.com.
Saint
You wanted to say it
Russell
too. You can say it.
No, I was going to say it wrong.
He says ours wrong. So why wouldn't he say yours
I
wrong?
was I recently was a guest on Brian Phillips' show on 92.9, and he goes, St. Lawrence Productions, and I'm like, no, it's St. Russell, man. He said it on the air, and he goes, I was thinking of the St. Lawrence River.
Yeah.
He's such a goofball.
How's Brian? Is he good?
He's such a nice guy. Like,
He was going to be on the show. We need to
We
get him
used
on the
to,
podcast.
it's hard to get him on the podcast because he works
his hours,
in the
yeah.
morning. He's got to like, I got to make sure I can take a day off the next day because I don't want to have to go to work after the podcast.
Yeah, but come on. You work in the morning.
no, Brian.
But,
I'll tell you what's great about
nut
Brian.
up, Brian.
Brian, like, first of all, he's such an easy guy to talk to. He's so fun. He's so nice, and like, he's such a sweetheart of a guy. The moment that I announced my book was coming out, he reached out. He's like, got to get you back on the show. He didn't wait till like August started like you guys did.
Yeah.
He did it immediately.
Aw.
We wanted to spread it out. You know, we knew you were going to get some love early.
Who was one of the first podcasts to get Volume 1 on and talk about how soon they forget when they rise to a certain level of
It's a major
success.
burn.
I even said in the
I know
text
you did.
message
I know
to
you
you,
did.
I know we're late to the game, fucker, but I still want you on because I know we would have conversations about more than the book.
That's so funny.
I've got a bunch of Barry
Set-
Manilow
you
content.
set me up. You set me up for it, man. I couldn't help it. No, I'm. All kidding aside, I'm very. You guys like have been having me on, supporting me when nobody gave a shit about me. So like,
I would do this and not even have the
appreciate
mics
you.
on and just hang out with you.
I know. Like, we don't even need. Like, are people recording this?
But Brian Phillips is the hero.
That's right.
Shout out to Brian.
He reached out right
He
away.
is.
Whoa.
And he is. He's great. I love Brian.
The last time I was on, or the first time I was on the show, you were there too.
Yep.
That was fun.
I love Brian. I got to work with him a little
Yeah,
bit during
yeah.
my hiatus,
Yeah,
if you will, and I really enjoyed
Very cool.
the times I spent down
he's
there.
cool over there. You know.
Punk Rock and Cocktails Volume 2, ladies and gentlemen, is available at StRussellProductions.com and also on Amazon.com. Seek it out, find it. It's a great book and great cocktails as well. If you're looking to do something crafty with your cocktails,
It's a fun party book.
I mean, you could actually make parties around this book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
that's kind of like, I want it to be a social thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not something you're sitting there like reading. You know, it doesn't take you too long to go through the thing if you're reading it. Get together with friends, put these records on, make the cocktails, have a party, have a good time.
Can you
have
still
some
get
pizza.
one? Do you still have pressings of one available?
Yeah. Oh,
Or-
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you can get one and
You
two.
can get
if
one
you don't
and
have it,
two at the website, and check it out.
And even though you've been one of the most frequent guests on Whiskey Business, here's the sweet part as we close for this evening. I got about a half a dozen other questions that I did not ask tonight that I'm just going to keep, that I've locked in my head for the next time I see
man.
you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah, no lockbox.
if you got something to push, all right, fine. But I got more questions for Jesse Hubbard in an episode to come.
Beautiful. I love
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
right.
I love it, man.
All right.
Halloween's less than 100 days away.
Yes, it's coming. It's coming.
All right. We're going to wrap things up. The guest bottle, where was it?
Wow, we didn't even talk about it. This was one of the
was
most
nice.
tastiest ryes I've
It's
ever
a
had.
really
It's a
nice.
beautiful rye. It's a beautiful rye.
I wanted to say this, but I forgot to because we started talking about Fog Hat and other craziness. But I know this is the small batch. The Willet in general, they got me in the rye to begin with.
Yeah.
This is where it all started like a decade ago for me. And then the small batch is an unbelievable treat.
Right.
I enjoyed that so much.
Yeah,
but
it's
spicy.
Good
yeah,
stuff.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
Great rye. So that was our guest bottle. We got that mentioned. I want to thank, of course, Greg Hansberry on the audio side, as always. John Whitney on the incredible video side. Look for those Echo Spirits videos of our journey as we make our still to be named bottle of whiskey. We've been tossing around some names. Well, I have. I haven't heard anything from these guys yet, but they pretty much poo-pooed every name I came up with.
Walking
thus
around
far.
here, like,
I'm rooting for no
average
hot
white man
dog.
music.
What?
No hot dog.
No hot dog.
No hot dog.
I hate it.
What about Greg? Greg.
Greg, no. The one I do kind of like, though, I wrote it jokingly, but now that I think about it, is Bastard Son.
I don't know if they would. Is that on brand? I'm not
Yeah.
Bastard Son, Bastard Son.
good
To go up to
Catholic
the
boys,
bar
I
and
don't
say,
know.
to go up to the bar and say,
I like it.
I'd like
if nobody's ever done that before, I've never heard of it. But
I'd like a Bastard Son, please.
yeah, that's pretty good.
But we'll see.
Dad.
It's either that or order like no hot dog.
No hot
I don't
dog.
even know what the hell that's about.
No hot dog is just crazy enough that it might work.
Yeah, well, the people will be curious and buy it and go.
What's
what
the story
fuck?
behind it? You just pull it out of your ass.
He just pulled it out of
full
his
my
ass.
ass.
He just pulled it out of
The hot dog? Pulled your hot dog out of your
Yeah,
ass?
yeah.
Some
Of
of his
course.
best stuff gets pulled out of his anus. It does.
Yeah, well,
He's brilliant that way.
Yeah. I just say shit. Like I said, I'm here to say dumb shit every once in a while.
Thanks, John.
Just want to thank you guys for ending the episode with me on it by talking about John's
hot dogs
anus.
in the butt.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys for that.
There's only one way to end a show.
We
is to
don't
talk
like
about my anus.
Mom, you listen to this podcast, but
Anybody
stop
can,
with
anybody
4
can
minutes
leave
left.
on a high note. That's easy.
We like to peak early and gradually decline.
All right, this is Whiskey Business. My name is Dino Tripodis. Until the next bottle, see ya.